Today let's set up an edge-to-edge design on a quilt top. We have a t-shirt quilt here loaded and ready to go, and we've picked out a pattern that has shamrocks and a St. Patty's Day theme. We're going to enter our AutoPilot, and it's asking for me to show it my sew zone, so I'll be moving to the upper right corner, and I'm making this a little bigger than my quilt top, and I can use my remote tablet to control my AutoPilot. Now I'm moving it to the front left corner of the sew zone and pressing done. Here on our screen we have a picture of the project, and this is the size. Our project, the grid here is a little bit too big. That's from a previous project, so we need to go into settings and choose quilt size, and we're going to change this to the width of the quilt, and I've used 59, and I will hit OK to enter that, and 87 for the depth. I've added an inch to each side of the actual size of the quilt top so that I guarantee that I have enough pattern to cover the quilt, even if it doesn't roll perfectly straight. So once I've put that in, I need to hit accept, and now the quilt grid represents my actual quilt top. You can see that the blue box is a little bit bigger than the width of the quilt, and it represents how much I can sew before I'll have to roll the quilt. To make this match up with my actual project that I have a margin on both sides, I will use the reposition tool and select drag and drop, and then I just drag the quilt box just a little bit so that there's a little margin on the three sides here, and then I hit accept. I'm ready to put my pattern in. I'll double click on St. Patty's Day, and this pattern, if I select it, I can see over here that it is 12 inches high and 12 inches approximately wide. I want my quilting to be rather loose on this t-shirt quilt, so I'm going to use the sizing tool, and I will go up here and resize the pattern. My dialog box pops up, and I'm going to choose using the keypad. It's already selected, so I don't have to change that, and then change this to 19 inches because I know that it'll look nice as a large size pattern, and I'll be able to fit that into my quilt zone. When I hit OK, an option comes up here to preview it, and then on the screen I'll see it enlarge. And if I want to see what it would look like on my actual quilt top, just go to actual size in the upper right corner, and there it is. So I'll accept that. I can look at it now at full size and determine if I'm happy with that density of quilting, and I am, because I don't see any areas that are bigger than like my open fist, and I think that'll look nice on the quilt top. So I'm going to go back to full view and then set up my edge to edge. I want it to trim off any extra at the bottom, and then I just go to the preview and it'll plan it out for me. That's how easy it is. If I want to zoom in to look at it more closely, you want to make sure that there's no overlapping or any gaps that you're not comfortable with. This space between the blocks looks fine, like I can't see a gap between each row. But I do notice that I can see that the patterns are stacking up straight, and like all the hats are up in a line here. So I'm going to play with the software a little bit and see if I like it better as put an offset so my second row isn't lining up with the first one. So let's cancel this and go into the edge to edge tool again. We're still going to use trim, but this time I'm going to offset. And I know that this pattern is 19 inches wide. So I'm going to make my gap half of that. Not my gap, but my offset. So it'll be a 9.5 offset, and then I can preview. And there's my project. I like it. Accept. Select the row. And we are ready to stitch. Now we're ready to start quilting. I'll select the pattern, the first row, and then just go to start. It's telling me that some of the patterns that we've planned out aren't inside the sewing area. That's true. We want to DQ and proceed. I'll use the pickup to bring up my thread, grab that bottom thread, tie off, and then press continue. As it starts to stitch, I'm watching just to make sure that my stitch quality looks great, and I can see perfectly balanced stitches on the top, and I'm going to check the bottom. Those also look good, and I like my thread choice, so I'm going to let it stitch out.